If you're a small business owner or you have your own website, here are 5 website design rules that you may be breaking. So to introduce myself, my name is Olivia. I'm a website designer and founder of Simple Design Co., where we work to make web design simple. So rule number 1 that you may be breaking is called the law of similarity. This is the idea that humans perceive similar objects in a design as a complete picture group, even if those elements are separated with space in between them. Basically, your mind likes to group things together, and if these elements that are supposed to be related to each other don't look alike, then anybody who's viewing your website won't understand that they're supposed to be similar objects. So for example, this image, you can see how different everything is. Nothing looks the same. You really can't look at these and recognize the fact that they are one picture. On the other hand, this image, everything is really clear. You can tell just by looking at this image what is grouped together and what's separate elements. So if you are breaking this law of similarity, the best way to fix this is just go through your website, make any buttons, boxes, pictures that are related look the same, and don't stray from one particular style if you can help it. So rule number 2 that you may be breaking is having too much stuff. This can be too many different fonts, too many pictures, too much text, too many different colors on your website. If you aren't letting all the elements on your website breathe, giving them a little bit of room, it's gonna make your website look really unprofessional and super cluttered. So for this example, I'm using Amazon because it gets the point across, but they're an exception because they have everything and they want you to know that. To solve this problem, just keep it simple. What do people really need to know when they're accessing your website? And make that bigger than everything else. Make anything that's not as important smaller and separate it out into clear sections. Also, don't be afraid to add white space. It can really elevate a website. Number 3 is called Hicks Law. This is the idea that the time that it takes to make a decision increases with the amount of choices and the complexity of those choices, which is pretty self-explanatory. The more things you have to choose from, the harder it is. Think of the last time somebody asked you, where do you want to go for dinner? What movie do you want to watch? What do you want to do today? There's so many choices, it can lead to decision paralysis, and then you just don't do anything. The same is true for your website. If you have too many buttons to click on, too many different choices, too much stuff for people to read, they're just not going to do anything. It's overwhelming and it's kind of stressful. This kind of goes back into my last point. Use hierarchy to make what's important bigger. Make the choices that you want them to make really predominant. Make that super obvious so that they do make the choices that you want them to make. This one also leads into number 4, which is no CTA or CTA is too vague. The CTA is your call to action. This is the button that tells people what you want them to do on your website. Think of order now, book a call, see our menu, whatever it is. That's the call to action. Your CTA should be telling people exactly what you want them to do. There really shouldn't be a question of whether or not this is the button that they should be clicking. Think of those websites where you're trying to download something and there's just all these different download buttons everywhere on the page. Having a CTA where it's super obvious, it's definitely what you want them to click, is the best way to get people to actually do what you want them to do on your website. Alternatively, your CTA can be too vague. Using single words like order, download, book doesn't actually tell people what they're doing when they click that button. Like, yeah, you're downloading, but what are you downloading? Or you're booking what with who? When you're writing your CTAs, be sure to use action verbs that tell people exactly what they get when they do something on your website. And number 5, you're using stock photos or you're not using enough photos. Now, me personally, this is a problem with my website. I don't have enough pictures, professional looking pictures of myself, and that's something that I've been working on. But using stock photos is, in my opinion, just as bad as not using any pictures. Using professional pictures or just pictures that you take on your own phone of your business, of people doing things, whatever it is, gives your website so much more personality, and it creates a connection that isn't there with stock photos. Because most of the time people can tell when something is a stock photo, especially if they they've been to your business before, it makes it really obvious when you're looking at a picture and you realize that's not the same place that I was 2 days ago when I went. On top of this, try to update your pictures like once a year. This is because quality of cameras improves so much over time, and it also improves your SEO. It helps you rank a little bit higher when somebody's searching for your page. If you do have access to whatever website platform builder you're using, I would suggest trying to go through and make some of these changes as soon as possible. Thank you!